what if I went out and met someone and then I had to tell you about it afterwards? We like made out and stuff. I didn't tell you until afterwards. How would you feel?
What about if I did it?
Hello, evolving lovers. Today we're going to do something a little bit different.
Yes, we are.
We are going to have a debate. We're going to be debating a couple of things.
Yeah.
So it'll be like choosing monogamy versus non-monogamy for a particular circumstance. Don't ask, don't tell versus kitchen table polyamory and a few other little interesting things like that.
Yeah, and it's a great exercise that we wanted to do because sometimes the clearest way, even if we don't necessarily agree with the points, so there'll be times where I'm saying things that I don't actually genuinely agree with. Like I might be arguing for a monogamous relationship being the best idea, for example. But it's a really fantastic way to kind of really sharpen your own belief system, even if you're arguing for the kind of things that you don't genuinely believe in.
Yeah, it's always good to challenge yourself and you don't want to find yourself in an echo chamber.
Yes.
Which of course can happen these days with the algorithms and everything. We just have these, our preconceived ideas and beliefs are just constantly getting reinforced. So it can be good to look at another perspective.
So we're going to jump right into it.
This is a hypothetical.
Okay.
Should we open a previously monogamous relationship if you're already in a very happy relationship, but you're curious, you're considering non-monogamy? So what would the arguments be for or against that? What side of the fence do you want to be on?
Oh, that's a good question. Now, so just to clarify, each of us are going to take one view is going to be for this idea and then another view is going to be against it.
Yes.
So maybe I'll be the devil's advocate to start with. Maybe I'll go against opening up a previously happy monogamous relationship. And you can make the argument for why that's a good idea to open up.
This is a pre-existing relationship. It's a happy relationship.
Okay, yep.
So to me, when I think about a happy relationship, I'm thinking open lines of communication. There's already built-in trust. There's a sense of togetherness, which would allow for some changing of things up. You could take some risks because you're already in a strong foundation. So if something were to come up that might not be exactly how you would expect it to be, I hope that in a happy relationship, that would be something that you could navigate together.
Okay. Well, that is a good point. But I would say, why would you open up if something is already happy, why would you change it? It's that classic thing. It's like, if it's not broken, why would you try and fix it? So what would be the advantage of actually entering into a non-monogamous relationship? If you are already happy, if you do have great communication, if you do feel fulfilled with each other, what could you possibly decide would be a reason to open up a relationship?
I think through the lens of non-monogamy, you can explore each other in new ways. You can get to know each other perhaps in a deeper sense.
Okay.
You would be witness to new vulnerabilities, new aspects of one another that you hadn't fully looked into before.
Okay.
And I think there is also, because you're a strong couple, you have a happy relationship, you are also able to take some risks to open up, to try it out, because you could always revert back if it didn't work, because you know that you are happy as a monogamous couple. So it's like the fact that you're already in this stable place means that you can explore a little bit outside of the lines.
But why do you take the risk? What's the advantage for actually taking a risk when you could just be safe? Like, surely safety is much more secure, and then you wouldn't actually risk damaging your relationship.
Well, we don't know that it would be damaging. We don't know that it would be. It could be incredibly exciting. It could transform a relationship into its new iteration of a relationship. It could also carve out new, unexpected possibilities for the future. And you might also be able to enjoy compersion with one another, which perhaps a monogamous relationship didn't previously allow in this particular capacity.
So you're talking sexually?
Well, it could be in many different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can still feel compersion, like you're talking about. Compersion, like feeling joy for someone else, for your partner, by non-sexual means. So why do we have to make it sexual? Like, why do we have to go into a non-monogamous relationship when I could still exercise compersion in a monogamous relationship? I can be happy for my partner, you know, for having friends and going out and doing their hobbies and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you take away all the sexual components of it, like what's the advantage of that?
Well, of course, sex isn't everything,
Right.
but it is a part of who we are. We are sexual creatures.
Yeah.
We're created by sex. It's a big sort of driver as to who we are as people in the world. But the thing is, if sex isn't that big a deal, then why couldn't we explore non-monogamy? Because if sex isn't this big a deal, why would it be the sex that would damage a relationship that's already so deeply connected and established? Like, why would we be so hung up on the sex? Why would that be a damaging point?
Well, this is where it gets hard to be the devil advocate, because I do agree with you. But I'm not going to break my devil's advocate character mode. Well, it's a very good point you make. It becomes increasingly hard to defend the position when this is a tricky game, because it becomes hard to defend a position that I don't agree with in this hypothetical.
You're very convincing. I was feeling the heat.
I'm trying. Well, I've got to take a moment to recompose myself and imagine that I did not believe sexuality to be such a key driver of the human experience. So, you know, obviously everyone has differing bandwidths for how much they want to chase sexual experiences. So what if I am in a happily monogamous relationship and both my partner and I are kind of a little bit ambivalent? Like, we don't feel like we're missing out by not chasing after other sexual experiences. Maybe I feel, you know, I'm just very happy with having sex with the same person for the rest of my life. You know, we have a nice connection, a great connection. We can be explorative together. We can explore different things. Like, why would I need to put sexuality on this pedestal when actually I could just cultivate the relationship in and of itself?
Great point.
Thank you.
Very good. But I feel like this is a frame of mind for very much in the now. You're looking at this through the relationship of like how your relationship is right now while it's happy. Why would you interrupt that? But life is long. So many things can happen. You really can't speak on behalf of a future version of yourself that might one day be curious about non-monogamy. So it's almost in a way safe-proofing your relationship to explore a few of these things while you're in a really good place, and say not later on, or, you know, if the kids are all grown up or there's marital issues, like why wait until there's a problem to explore something? Because even if you decide to revert back, you can at least look at the situation and say, but we gave it a go. Because I feel like a lot of the times when people do break up or different things happen, it can be through our boredom or a disconnection.
Right.
Or it might be, I want to discover myself. I want to learn a little bit more about who I am, and I was too stifled in my marriage to do so.
Okay, well, why introduce a potential risk into a relationship? Because it's all well and good saying the future, something might happen in the future. Obviously, there's lots of cheating and all that kind of stuff. But if you feel very content within your relationship, why look for the introduction of risk? Like, what could you possibly achieve by taking a risk or exploring or opening up all these other avenues where things could go wrong? What if my partner leaves me? What if I get so jealous and it ruins our relationship? What if the first time I see my partner with someone else, it completely destroys me inside as a human being? Why would I approach that risk and introduce that into a previously happy relationship?
Yeah, I mean, there are some interesting points. And I feel like this is where this debate becomes really difficult for me, because arguing a point that feels really inherently wrong to somebody, because arguing a point that's inherently wrong feels like we're trying to gaslight ourselves.
Yes.
And so this exercise of trying to debate these things is really difficult, because I am a true believer in following what feels right with some curiosity.
Mm.
Also being okay with there being a bit of discomfort.
Yeah.
Knowing that you can revert back to how things were if you needed to do so. And so this is where it becomes really tricky for me, because I, of course, would never want to sound like people should be exploring non-monogamy when they're feeling sick, when they're feeling unwell. They don't want to do that. It's going to destroy them. I'm like, don't. So this is a hard debate for me, because I actually am a defender of monogamy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Even just to go full meta on this.
Yeah.
Like even taking the opposing view to what I believe, it actually sharpens your ability to justify why you believe what you believe. You know, it's a classic debating technique. It's like you have to be able to articulate the opposition side before you can truly understand your own.
Totally.
So struggling to articulate what someone would argue against my view and our view as non-monogamous people, that's a really powerful thing.
I think
and a
so.
total mindfuck.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's a really good exercise to do. I think it's really important. I agree.
Okay, so now you've got to try being the devil's advocate.
Well, I have a different one now.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so that was opening up a happy relationship.
Yes.
So this is now the argument for opening up an unhappy relationship.
Okay.
So the couple is struggling.
Yep.
So this is, do we open or do we not open?
So they're unhappy, and I'm arguing that I'm pro them opening up the relationship. Okay, well, so they're already unhappy. Maybe they've, gone down all the different avenues. They tried counseling. They tried changing behaviors, changing patterns of different things that they were doing. They've been stuck in a rut. And what is the harm in trying a different alternative to kind of almost jogging them into something a little bit different, into a new way of thinking, into a new potential opportunity for them to grow as a couple. And maybe through growing as a couple, they would actually become closer. So maybe by opening up, they could actually experience that sense of closeness because they have that combined journey. And maybe before that point, they've been going on different journeys and they'd been starting to move apart. So that's where I'd start my argument for opening up an unhappy relationship.
So I don't like this idea of somebody coming in as a bit of a Band-Aid to fix a pre-existing relationship. Like adding more people to a sinking ship perhaps isn't a great idea.
Okay.
Or just into a difficult situation. It's almost like when couples are struggling, they're having relationship problems, things are not going well, and they think, oh, well, let's have a baby.
Right.
Let's have a baby and that will make us closer. It would be something to experience and to go through, but it doesn't necessarily bring you closer. In fact, it could really bring things into, under the spotlight even more, all of your problems, because non-monogamy is a magnifying glass to your issues, whether they be good or bad. And I think about the justice jealousy is what I think about.
Okay, so what's justice jealousy? Tell me a little bit about that.
So justice jealousy, it's like the injustices that, for example, somebody else might experience. So just say there's a husband and a wife or two people in a relationship, and just say the wife always wishes that her husband would do something for her or make a particular meal or take her to a certain place or try salsa dancing or go and do something, but he won't do that with her. But then he gets a new partner and all of a sudden he has this desire or this interest to do those things that his pre-existing partner would have loved for him to do, but now he's doing it with somebody else. So there's like an injustice in the situation. I foresee a lot of little tricky things like that if there's already problems in a relationship.
Well, I would argue that, and I feel this is hard because the first one, I disagreed with what I was saying. And now, even though I'm pro for the situation, I would still probably disagree with what I'm saying. So I feel like I'm getting backed into a corner, but I'm gonna get used to the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to try and get comfy in the corner.
This is a game.
This is a game. And it is a great exercise. But I would say that non-monogamy is a brilliant way to very quickly understand lots of parts of yourself. And a lot of time in monogamous relationships, people they can kind of get trapped on this circular system where they just do the same thing over and over again. They get into patterns, they get into behaviors. and they never actually truly get a chance to kind of break those cycles. So you might be in all these negative cycles within your relationship. Things are really difficult. The communication always kind of breaks down at the same point. But then you decide to open up your relationship. And immediately you're met with a whole bunch of circuit breakers almost that come into your previously unhappy monogamous relationship. And then suddenly you have an opportunity, a chance to start to figure out whether there's different ways to approach things, or figure out whether, a non-monogamous relationship can teach you different things about the way in which you're relating in your primary relationship. So I think that is a reason why opening up an unhappy relationship could actually be an opportunity to figure out some of those things.
Can you give me one example of this being the case? A hypothetical.
One example. A hypothetical.
Just one scenario.
Okay, so let's say I have found it very difficult in my relationship to express my emotions. So it's been really difficult. I've been in a monogamous relationship. Often we have arguments because my partner and I, she expresses her emotions really freely and easily, but I actually find it really difficult to express my emotions. So as soon as we get into a non-monogamous kind of situations, maybe I open up the relationship, we open up the relationship, and suddenly I start feeling this conduit, and I'm just really just kind of leaning into all these emotions that I'm feeling, and suddenly the floodgates open, and then I'm suddenly, telling my partner all these things that I'm feeling, and my partner's like, wow, that's incredible. He's becoming so connected to his feelings and his emotions. There you go. There's an example. Are you convinced? That's pretty convincing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You give me an example of how it goes badly.
Again, I'm coming back to that justice jealousy.
Okay.
So just say this couple was us.
Okay.
And we're unhappy and we're opening up.
Yeah.
And you're going off now to express yourself and have your feelings heard and be opening up in this way with somebody else.
Yeah.
I would just feel really hurt that you weren't able to express that with me after so many years of being together. It's like outsourcing your emotional healing into somebody else when we have a life together.
Oof.
And that would be really hard.
Yeah. Okay, look, I mean, you've convinced me. Don't open up a unhappy monogamous relationship.
Or get therapy at the same time.
I mean, or get therapy irrespective.
Yeah. No, we're not telling people what to do and what not to do. Because there are many people who do their relationship, they're looking at everything and they're thinking this is not going to work out. We can't stay together. We're at a point we both need different things, but we still are companions, or we still love each other. We're still a family. And it's a reshuffle.
Oh, totally.
And then it can be super successful.
If we take the exercise out of it, obviously.
I know. I just feel like I have to caveat now. I'm like, I don't agree with
if
this.
If someone wanted to clip these and just take me saying all these unhinged things that I don't actually believe in.
I know. Maybe it's
a danger. We're playing with fire.
We're playing with fire here, aren't we?
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Oh no.
No, it's a good exercise.
Yeah.
So I'm committed to the exercise. Okay, so what's the next one? And I feel like you should defend something that you don't believe in. So you get to experience the cognitive dissonance and how uncomfortable it is.
So this isn't a monogamy versus non-monogamy one.
Okay.
But this is an argument I've written for or against OPP, one penis policy.
Oh, this is golden. Okay, so you have to argue.
I'll be against it.
No, you've got to be for a one penis policy.
Oh, sorry, I'm for it.
Because you totally...
I'm just thinking penis. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'll go in disagreement to be different.
Okay, so just for the complete benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
What is a one penis policy?
I would say stereotypically one penis policy, couple, just say there's a, heterosexual man and the heterosexual man and a, I don't know, maybe he's bi. I don't know. Okay. Start again. I don't know.
We gotta nail down.
Okay, we'll be very like gender norms here. Husband and wife, open relationship.
Right.
only open for women, but.
Okay.
So they can have threesomes with women. She can date women. Perhaps he can date women as well.
Yep.
But there's no other penises coming and being in the mix. So she's not allowed to date separately with a man. There's no threesomes with a man. There's nothing. He is the only penis that's allowed. He's a king. He's a king of the castle.
King of the castle.
Okay?
Yes.
So you're for it. No, you're against it.
No, I'm against it.
Yeah, you're against it.
I'm against the one penis policy. Okay, so you've got to make the argument for the one penis policy. You've got to start. I started last time and the first time.
Okay.
So you've got to muster all of the
okay, this is me in defense of the one penis policy. So obviously there can be a lot of things that would come up for a man. There's a lot of unpacking that would have to take place. I think a one penis policy is a shield. It's a protector. You can be in your manhood. You can have the women be just all about you. You are like the sacred, high value male with your penis, and you don't have to like be in competition with other men because like you are the strong, like you're the man and she's your woman. Okay, because it's like she's your woman and she shouldn't be wanting another penis. Okay. Yeah. Also, if she's to get pregnant. Like we know who the biological argument is that we would know who the father is. We don't have to question who it is. We definitely would know who the mother is because she's the one having the baby. Okay. But you definitely know who the father is.
So you are arguing that, you know, in all relationships, it's fine to have multiple women partners, like female in a hetero relationship. You can have multiple female partners, but just no men. No extra men.
No extra men.
Okay. So my argument would be that is highly, I think it's, I didn't want to say, I want to say selfish. Maybe that's too strong a word. I think it's probably unfair that you are saying that a woman cannot connect with other men in a relationship that is open because obviously there are different dynamics that happen with men and women. And if you are, you know, a bisexual woman or a straight woman, and you do want to have those sexual connections, not just with females, but also with, you know, masculine partners as well, you know, that is perfectly fine. You know, it's like why is
it fine?
Why is it fine? Well, because if I'm going around, say we're in the relationship, okay, and we have a one penis policy within our relationship, and I have said you're not to engage with any other men, you know, that might be because I am a very jealous person. I don't want to have any other male energy around in this space, and I find females inherently, for whatever reason, less of a threat than male partners. So it's actually kind of protectionism. And I want to sow my seed. If I'm in a one penis policy relationship, I want to sow my seed around, but then I don't want my wife or my partner to get the opportunity to have sexual encounters with men. So it seems highly possessive and problematic for you to advocate for a one penis policy.
You know, as you were saying that, with your argument, I got really confused as to what side of the argument you were on. And I was thinking, hang on, that's my point.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was going to say. I think also there's a lot of judgment that can come.
Yeah.
I think if you're a man and you're allowing your partner to sleep with other men, what are your friends going to think about you? They're going to think that you're not a very powerful man.
I would say that my friends feel that I am very solid in my sense of masculinity. And I would say that men who are comfortable with their partners having sex with other men are actually very assured in their masculinity and very assured in the security of their relationship. Because if there is a concept of, I want to, you know, basically be a harem collector, so just have, you know, my partner and then a bunch of other women, you know, that to me feels like hoarding all of the sexual resources that just feel comfortable for the person who feels threatened by other masculine energy. So I think that's deeply problematic to completely cut off someone's sexual interests or sexual relationships and the potential of those with the one penis policy.
So you're saying there'd be more of a sense of like, perhaps what about where does like brotherhood play in this? Like what would the relationship with
I would say
with the men look like? This platonic, that you're sharing a partner.
Well, my argument is that it enhances a sense of brotherhood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sharing.
How about that one penis policy, lady?
But do you look at it through the lens of sharing then? Like is that's still quite possessive because it's you sharing your partner? You'd still be owning your partner if you're sharing her with your friends?
That's a good argument. Well, I think it's a question of autonomy. So in a really healthy relationship where there isn't a one penis policy, there's got to be a sense of autonomy and trust that the partner is able to, have these experiences and have these interactions and form these connections. But the trust is there.
Yeah.
So it's not a sense of possessiveness, but it's a sense of trust. And it's not a sense of ownership. It's a sense of kind of freedom and autonomy for the partner, ideally.
Okay.
And that's kind of the opposite of a one penis policy, because if you are in a one penis policy, you actually don't want to give your partner any freedom when it comes to that at all. It's like pure possession.
But what if I don't want to upset my husband? What if I wouldn't want to do that?
In a one penis policy?
Like, that's why I want to have the one penis policy.
Well, I would say that you should assume that your husband has a greater capacity for managing their emotions.
Good points.
Yeah. Did I convince you?
Yeah, you did, but I keep on getting confused. I don't know what side.
How did it feel arguing against something that you believe in?
Yeah, it felt weird, and I felt like nervous about getting clipped.
Oh yeah, right.
Like reshared.
Say something really crazy.
Yeah, because I'm saying like unhinged things.
We've said so many unhinged things.
We have.
It doesn't make a difference.
People can do anything these days.
Yeah. But did it make you? Did it change the way that you viewed the argument? Like there were some good things that you said, I thought, where I was like, I can see how you could make that argument.
Yeah,
and run
but I have arguments for them. I already know what my argument is for it. Like I'm saying it for the sake of it. It's like the biological thing. Like, oh, it's the father. It's like, hello, it's 2025. Like you get organized. If you're having sex with people, and there is a chance that you could fall pregnant, you have to really be across that with your birth control, with your contraceptives, with the whole thing. With your plan, like that is something to consider. Cycle tracking. If you're going to be in this world, you have to be on top of your things.
Yeah, you got to be on top of it.
You're not like, just winging it.
I think the biological one is probably the strongest argument for a one penis policy. Like if you want that perspective. Yeah, if you were like I'm sure that argument could be run from like a Christian perspective. It's like this is the reason why, we don't have multiple men within the relationship.
Right. Well, it's like this is the reason for monogamy in the first place is because we want to know who owns the property, who owns the land, who's going to own the cows, it's inheritance, it's all of that. It's land ownership. Monogamy is very tied in with that. That's when it came to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Even just recently, I was talking to an Islamic guy who was out in public and he had a stall up and he had a big banner saying, ask a Muslim anything. And he was kind of engaging in conversation, and I was like, oh, I have to have a chat with him. And he brought up that in Islamic culture, you can have multiple wives. And then I said, well, what about the husband? What about the wife? Does the wife get to have multiple husbands? And he said, oh, no. That's not how it works. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Like, what's the double standard? Like, why is that? And he said, oh, well, then it would be because of the way that the families are structured, it would be too hard in terms of interfamilial relations. Like the parents of the wife, there'd be multiple parents, and then it would basically create like fight. Like he was saying that it would just present all these kind of like social complications. And I thought, that's pretty convenient. You know?
Yeah, interesting through a different cultural lens. But I think also through, the size of the population. It's like you couldn't really, I mean, I don't know, but if you had like quite a small community of people and you're creating babies and you're non-monogamous and you're maybe not knowing whose baby is whose, I think later on down the track it can get a little bit tricky with when those children are looking to partner, just on that like incest. Like it can be a good thing to know who your biological parent is.
Totally.
So that you can have a little bit of space from people down the road.
Penis policy.
But also it's 2025.
Yeah.
It's 2025. Like we know what's going on. We can test everything.
Yeah.
These days.
What do you as in paternity?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. If anyone's confused, you can do a little test.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, what's the next one? Let's keep cooking.
Just for the record, I feel like I would be so sad if we had a one penis policy, and you would be too.
Yeah, totally. Well, I just think I just don't like the double standard.
Yeah, totally.
I don't dig the double standard.
Okay, what about a don't ask, don't tell versus like a kitchen table polyamory situation?
Okay, so let's just really map out exactly what both of those things are, just in case someone listening doesn't know.
With a don't ask, don't tell relationship, I'll just caveat this with, of course, they would all look different, but the general understanding is that it's an open relationship, but the couple don't discuss their other partners or, who they're sleeping with or their other connections with their main partner, like with their, with their spouse or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like secret. So it's essentially running it like an affair, except it's not an affair because they have an agreement.
Yeah.
And that would look different for different people. Some people, they would say like, I am actually going to go out on a date on Friday night. But the information about it stops there. They don't talk about who it is or what they're doing or anything really like that. And kitchen table polyamory is this idea that you and your partner and their partners, like your metamors, that's your lover's lover. You could all sit around the kitchen table and have a meal together. Like everybody's getting along. You could all go to a party together or, have a picnic with your kids and it's not a big deal. Like it's a nice thing.
So they're basically the polar opposites of each other. One is like hyper transparency. The other one is keeping things in the dark.
Yes.
Playing in the shadows.
Okay,
so
kind of hot, isn't it?
So which? Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Totally. So which one would you want to argue for?
How about I argue for a don't ask, don't tell?
Oh, okay. That's because it's kind of hot.
As
soon as you were
like
talking about it, I was just like, that's pretty hot. This is like we were talking on a recent episode where you were talking about the concept of cheating.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sort of like this idea of fantasy versus reality, and where my compersion sits.
Yeah, but we are talking specifically about reality.
Yes, reality here.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so I'll argue for kitchen table.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'll make the first argument.
All right.
It's gonna be a straight ahead argument for kitchen table. I love the fact that we have a kitchen table poly relationship, and I don't have to be stressed about trying to hide a secret. Whereas you have a don't ask, don't tell relationship, and surely there is unbelievable stress that comes from the worry that your partner will find out what you're supposed to keep hidden.
I would say that there is hotness in keeping the secret. There's something very autonomous about it.
Right.
I could find it very hot, not knowing any of the details, but knowing that you are out dating, because remember, this is something that I've agreed to. I haven't agreed to an affair. I haven't agreed to an infidelity. I've agreed to a don't ask, don't tell relationship. That's agreeing to you being very independent and having your own time to do what you want and not have to ask me about it. And the same for me. There's an eroticism in that, I believe. There's a mystery because I don't know everything about you then. There's still more to know, and there's still maybe more that I would never know.
Oof.
And when you're so familiar with someone, that can be hard. It's kind of turning me on.
Oh, this is great.
I know.
Okay, well, imagine that I wasn't getting turned on by hearing you say all that stuff. Okay, so I think that there is a power in knowing that if something goes wrong in a kitchen, there is a power in knowing that if something goes wrong in a kitchen table poly relationship, so say there's some issue, it can be resolved and it doesn't feel like the end of the road. Whereas in a don't ask, don't tell relationship, if something goes wrong and say, you've been acting secretive and you've been doing all these things and without me knowing about them, okay, don't get too excited. You've been doing all these things without me knowing about them, then suddenly if it all comes out, I could be so upset that it completely ruins the whole relationship. I feel like there is actually greater strength in the kitchen table poly relationship because you can actually communicate your way through issues, whereas a don't ask, don't tell relationship inherently is actually much trickier because if these things come out, then it's much harder to walk them back because the whole premise of the relationship is built on the secret.
So I disagree with you.
Okay. Because
you're speaking about this again as if it's an affair. It's not an affair. Say this is a strong relationship. So a don't ask, don't tell doesn't mean that there wouldn't be any leeway or room for a mistake to happen. Or if there's an accidental, like you finding out about something.
Yeah.
And it's an accident, like a genuine accident that you might find out something or somebody says, oh, I saw Abbey out on a date. I know that person. He's really nice. Like that's just a life hiccup. It's still honoring the don't ask, don't tell, but you can't control what other people do or if things come to light. But there's not an infidelity. And I feel like if you're at that point where your relationship couldn't handle this, you wouldn't be in any type of open relationship because there's going to be an unexpected thing that comes up anyway.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, I do like that. But it also depends on, let me try and counter that with an argument for kitchen table poly. Isn't it better to have a sense of community around you within a non-monogamous relationship? Because for me, the kitchen table poly thing is so great because we can draw on the strength of other people within the polyamorous relationships. We can have that sense of inbuilt community. Whereas for you, all of these things are happening kind of separate to the primary relationship.
Well, that's under the assumption that people would want community. Not everybody wants community. Some people have a lot of friends, they have a lot of family, they have a very busy job, they have kids, they have all of these things. They don't want to be thinking about their spouse's partner and spending time together. If anything, it's like offloading. It's like one more thing that they don't have to worry about because their partner's out and then they can stay at home and watch any show that they want. They enjoy the freedom and they don't have to have the emotional labor of navigating the emotional landscape with metamors. They're just able to be free. And also, it's not like it's lacking in compersion because you don't have to be completely caught up physically and fully in the know across everything to feel compersion. You can still find it hot in your own erotic mind just that your partner's out. Just knowing that it's happening, but knowing nothing.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is it's a don't ask, don't tell. So I would never know. Like if I was in a don't ask, don't tell relationship with you, I would actually never know because it's in the title, don't ask.
But you might know that you're going on a date or you might have a code. Some people have codes.
Oh, it's like I'm taking out the trash.
I'm going to the movies.
Going to the movies.
And then okay, you're not going to ask about what the movie was.
Someone's been going to see a lot of movies. Then someone's really having a great time. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
People have codes in don't ask, don't tell relationships?
Yeah.
Wow. What would be our code?
I mean, we just could never do any our don't ask, don't tell would have to be some extravagant role play that we've spoken about and planned exactly how we would navigate the don't ask, don't tell.
I mean,
how would you feel if say I went on a date, I didn't tell you anything about it. I went on a date, had a really hot time, built up a connection, you know nothing. I actively hid it from you. And then a month later was like, Liam, I've actually been dating someone for a month and I just haven't told you because I wanted to try. We already are non-monogamous and I
You just want to give it a crack.
Well, obviously then it's different because obviously I wouldn't do that because we'd have to negotiate.
No,
Or
but
what
just
if,
hypothetically.
okay, well, what if I said at some point within the next 2 years, I'm going to date someone and I'm not going to tell you anything about it. You're not going to have any idea.
I mean, that's hot, but go back to the first hypothetical. So you've been dating someone for a month.
Yeah.
And you've developed a connection with them.
Yeah.
Initially, my initial reaction would be like, this is hot.
Yeah.
But then I would probably get jealous.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know who this guy is. This guy could be an absolute D-bag. You never know.
You think I'm going to date a D-bag?
I don't think so. But it's like, but that would play into the thoughts of it. It's like, I have no frame of reference for this person. Like if they were completely removed, like I didn't even know the person.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you turned around and was like, it's actually someone that we know, you know, then I'd be like, oh, at least they're cool, you know?
So is your compersion only really available if you really like the person and you give them the tick of approval and you feel really good about them? Like what if I'm just happy and they're really nice? Do you have compersion for my happiness even if you don't like them?
That's a good question. If I don't like them, there'd be a very good reason for not liking them. And usually it would be a question of emotional safety. So I would say that my thought of not liking them would actually be something that I'd trust and I wouldn't have compersion over it because I just feel uneasy that it was a good connection for you to have. I think if I did like the person, then I could access compersion because I'd be happy because you're hanging out with the awesome person who respects you. And, you know, but if someone doesn't respect you or is emotionally unsafe, then I can't access compersion because I'm just thinking, I don't know. And there'd have to be legitimate reasons. Like I'd have to really genuinely feel, it's not like I don't like the fact that, you know, they're a lawyer or something or, you know, some ridiculous thing like that. It would have to be like something very specific.
But when you say legitimate reasons, okay, I'll just cut the game for a second.
Yeah, we cut the game.
We're cutting the game.
We're diverging.
Yeah, we're diverging.
Yeah.
When you say that have to be legitimate reasons, I would actually say that makes it sound almost like you need to have proof of evidence that they are not good, like that there's issues. But I would say that there are sometimes things with people where it's so subtle, but it's an intuition. And I would say that you're actually a very intuitive person and I'm an intuitive person. And we've had situations before in the past where you've said something's just off. And it's not coming from like a wanting to veto or anything like that. It's just I'm getting a weird read. And I would say that when that happens, you're always right.
Yeah.
Even if it's a just watch this space, something's a bit.
Yeah, there's something a little.
Just something.
Something a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do take your opinion on someone is so important to me.
It's also because I can be quick to form an opinion, but usually there's lots of reasons for the opinion that can make sense.
Yes.
Like my gut is strong, but it's also based on stuff. It's not based on nothing.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like a embodied sense of something.
It's like a lot of little tiny pieces of a jigsaw.
The trusting the intuition is important for sure. But I definitely wouldn't feel compersion for someone that I didn't feel was a good fit.
Yeah.
In terms of the way in which they approach things.
Yeah.
And that might be like they could be possessive. Like they could be like very real things. Like, you know, they could be trying to throw shade at me and our relationship or different things like that. And that can happen in non-monogamous relationships. People can be dating people who kind of get in their ear and go, oh, I don't know, like your partner, like he doesn't really treat you that well, you know, like start to sow those seeds, which is so insidious and really, really dangerous.
Yeah. If anyone ever said that to me, I have had one weird thing once.
Oh, yeah.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
And
you can be specific. That's fine.
Yeah. Someone once said to me, because we have certain, and I wouldn't say rules, it's just, you know, I was prioritizing my family life. And I couldn't dedicate a whole day and a night to someone on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a lovely idea. It's not what I could do. It's also not what I wanted to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Like in sort of this regimented way. And he did say that, you were controlling.
Yes.
He's in this roundabout way.
Yeah.
Well, no, he actually straight up said those words. But there were other things that he said. But I remember being like, oh, yeah, nah.
What's this? An incompatibility?
Absolutely cooked. Yeah, it's incompatible.
Yeah. But then also it's a strong statement.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that.
So in that situation, for me, it's the perfect example. It's like I'm not feeling compersion for if you were to stay, and you didn't, but if you were to keep going with that partner and you're like, oh, he said all these cooked things, but, we'll work through it. That for me would be extremely difficult to access compersion.
When things like that start to happen,
right?
That is like, that's the red flag of all red flags for everybody. That is a red flag for me. Like I would be the red flag. Like everything is destabilized.
Yeah.
Like that's just not the way that we navigate things. On the topic of don't ask, don't tell.
Yep.
So when we were discussing it then, it's like quite a hot thing.
Yes.
Is there a way that we can like incorporate a little bit of don't ask, don't tell into our like life, or not really?
I mean, would
you ever want to?
Yeah.
How would we do it?
There's ways to incorporate anything, but it's still a fantasy and it would still have to be chatted about. So there'd be parameters that a hardcore don't ask, don't tell person would be like, that's not don't ask, don't tell. That's just like a role play. Like
what if I went out, I feel like it's not a thing that happens, but what if I went out and met someone and then I had to tell you about it afterwards? We like made out and stuff. I didn't tell you until afterwards. How would you feel?
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, I'm chill with that. What about if I did it?
Feel like I have a different... I know the silence.
I'm going to leave that silence in too. I'm not going to edit that silence out.
I feel like I'd like for there to be some pre-discussions like that. I knew that maybe that could be a possibility.
Yeah, you don't want me to just come home and be like, I just made out with the waitress.
Also, again, it depends on what time of the month I'm at.
Yeah.
Like if it happened this week, I think I'd find it really hot. If it happened in a week and a half, I think
How many days left of the week are there?
I think I'd feel...
I'll be going out tomorrow night.
I think I'd feel maybe not great if it was in a week and a half, just due to like my hormones and where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I can't give a true answer on that.
You can stay undecided.
It's definitely a fantasy. Okay. For or against non-monogamy into the future as we age? Would it be better to be monogamous as one's getting older or non-monogamous?
I will argue that you should be monogamous when you're older.
Okay. As in you believe that?
No, we're playing a hypothetical game.
Okay, you just
can't
said
pin
it.
Me.
No, you just said it so like.
Assuredly?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was role playing.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I was getting into the hypothetical.
Okay, cool.
But obviously I sold it well enough that you got really worried.
Yeah, you just had, so much conviction.
You're going to argue for we should be non-monogamous when we're older.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a first argument?
So just say you're non-monogamous, you're in a polycule, you've been together, like it's like you and just say it's me, like I'm aging, it's like me and you, your other partners, I have partners, they have partners. So we're in a community of people.
Yeah.
Life is very expensive. Perhaps we live in some sort of communal situation, but we can also look out for each other. Okay. Yep. So it's like if I was in a community where it's like a living in community of people, or like I saw something in the ABC last week, someone sent it to me, and there are people who are like, they're now buying together, like they're buying a block of land and then building houses. So it's like they each have their own apartment, their own house, but then there's like a shared communal kitchen in the middle, and then they have gardens that they have. And so you're sort of all together as like a community, and they look out for each other. So it's like you still have your independence, but I feel like there's a lot of, because of the closeness of non-monogamous relationships, that's not that crazy of an idea to find yourself living in. And it's like if something were to happen to you as I'm aging, like I would have companionship with like say a metamor, like someone who is your partner, or I'd have companionship with another one of my partners to support me through that time with you. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, wonderful communities of support with people. And I feel like there's a level of closeness that you can have with other people who are non-monogamous, whether you're intimate with them or not, where it's like a very bonding thing. It's like being around like-minded people.
Okay, good argument. But I would say that my community comes from not people I have romantic relationships with or have had in the past, but it comes from my church community. It comes from my, you know, my badminton that I've developed an interest for later in life. You know, there's lots of different communities that I have that don't need to draw on romantic communities. And one key thing that makes me happy about being monogamous in later life is that it's much easier to divide assets when I die.
Oh,
you know, because I know that I'm going to die. Like, what's going to happen when you die, right? And say you leave a will, you're going to leave a will and divide your assets between 20 people on the farm.
So why does it actually have to become financial? Like, we're non-monogamous now and we don't share finances with other partner.
Stay in the hypothetical. You got to stay in the hypothetical.
So why does it have to be about finances and about who you're going to leave your money to?
Well, it's just a consideration. When you get older, these are the things you start to consider.
But you can just write up wills.
But you have to divide your assets between more romantic partners. Whereas I might just have one partner in my monogamous relationship.
But says who? What if your romantic partners are also financially independent? Why would they want what you have?
Okay, I concede my argument.
Because I wouldn't want somebody else's finances to go to me because I was their partner. I would want them to go to their children because that's their
good argument.
Children and their grandchildren.
Okay. I will
I don't want that.
I will consider a different argument to level against you. Okay. Maybe that was not the strongest argument for monogamy moving into late life. I thought that was a good one, but no, I see your logic. I sit corrected.
I've got a few more.
I bet you do. Okay, monogamous.
I've got one.
Okay, go on, give me another one.
So I would say that, you know, non-monogamy, it's not always about the sex or anything. It is a philosophy. It is a way of being in the world. It is a sense of aliveness.
Yep.
Even if it's not so physical, it can still be in your mind as well. Like it is a sexual energy. Okay. So sexual energy is like creative energy. It could help with creativity. It's like there's more to sort of think about and navigate. It's not so doesn't have the stagnancy that perhaps monogamy could have. Like it can just sort of keep you a little bit more alive and cheeky for longer. You know, you're a cheeky person. Because you're inherently a curious person.
One could even argue that, you know, there's all these studies. If I were to take your side just for 1 second, if I were to cross the aisle just for 1 second, that one could argue that things like improvisation, you know, there's all these studies that people who improvise can kind of stave off dementia for a lot longer because it activates neural pathways.
Yeah,
so if I were hypothetically arguing for your side, you could argue that being that sense of aliveness and that sense of romantic kind of creativity could actually stimulate neural pathways in a way that keeps you alive for longer. You know.
Oh, it seems
not
like
that I'm making your own. It
seems like I've converted you.
I think that's probably all we have time for in today's episode. But that is a great that's a great exercise. We've never done that before.
We've never done that before.
And it's actually extremely hard.
It's really difficult.
I would encourage anyone listening to this who hasn't ever tried that as a game to do that with their partner. Yeah. Especially people in non-monogamous relationships. See if your partner can be the person who argues for monogamy, and then you have to make because if you can't genuinely argue against your side, then you don't really understand why you're doing something in the first place.
You're just sort of brainwashed.
Totally. I feel sharpened in a way that I wasn't at the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look sharp.
Thanks, baby. We have some exciting things coming through the pipeline. We have a live podcast coming up.
Yep.
There's still tickets available. That's going to be on Friday, the 10th of October.
And there's an after party.
It's a National Film and Sound Archive in Australia, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. I also have my women's retreat happening from the 17th until the 19th of October, and there are a few places left for that. It's going to be beautiful. They've got a sauna now.
Oh,
I can't wait to go back out there.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. It's so great. 2 years now I've been running these retreats.
So if you're interested in either of those things, please reach out to us. Links are in the show notes. And thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.